Now let's dive right into our first Power Pack panel discussion on the topic the Affluent shift decoding premium audience migration to CTV ecosystems. As premium audiences move towards connected TV platforms, brands, marketers must rethink how they engage with this coveted demographic. Moderating this session is Geeta, our Lobo, Country Chief Client Officer at Ipsos, India. Please welcome her on stage. Joining her on stage are our esteemed panelists, Varun Kulkarni, Director Digital Marketing and Growth at Nupur. Shivani, Head of Growth and Digital Marketing at AGO. Anil, Suryavamshi, VP Digital South and West, Carat, India. Please welcome Brahmanand Pandey, Senior Sales Director, West and South at Teads. Nupur, Puri, GM Digital Marketing at OMD, India. Gaurav, Tyagi, AVP at Interactive Avenues. Huge round of applause, everybody. Over to you, Geeta.
You can hear me, right? Yes. Yeah. So, welcome everyone. Indeed, like was called out, it's an ecosystem which is evolving by the day, and CTV, as we all know, is in the thick of things. It's a great spot for brands to be. It's a great way of leveraging not just presence, the top of the funnel metrics, but also how can you connect, how can you storytell better, and so on. So let's dive into this topic and let's try and understand not just what can be done with CTV, but also some learnings from your experiences about how best we can leverage this medium. Right? So without much ado, maybe I'll start by asking you, Varun. In your business, there is a whole element of, people are seeking trust, they're trying to alleviate their anxiety with transactions and so on. So how do you see the role of CTV in your context? How are you using it as a part of your media mix?
Right, so you're right. I mean, if you look at the business, real estate business of Nupur, definitely trust is something that is crucial. And so far, unfortunately, in the past, there have been certain elements in real estate business have broken that. So Nupur obviously has tried to build that trust again. Coming to CTV, I think first of all, it's a signal. It's a strongest signal that there's a premium audience out there which you can target for CTV. So that becomes easier for us when you opt for that medium. And what CTV has done for us is it has the impact of connect the television that used to have, that was there earlier, and the precision of digital. So combining those two, I think is a great way to reach out to customers. And real estate by default is a very hyper-local business, and we could not do that at maybe national TV level because there are certain limitations when it comes to TVs. That we can break with connected TV, and we can have maybe hyper-local creatives running. Typically what we are seeing, the co-viewership which used to happen in normal TV, I think that has kind of come down with CTV because if you are looking, let's say watching YouTube, everybody has their own profile. Like I personally prefer to watch certain content via my profile only because my algorithm picks up and then I get good recommendations. I've seen similar behavior across other audience also. And that helps us create customized creatives for maybe a precision targeting. So hyperlocal is one, then targeting precise to a person is another, and the affluent class that is available there. So all three of them have helped us create that awareness in the right TG. But again, the trust comes from the service, so that you cannot mitigate from. But yeah, servicing is something that we take care of on the offline world. But online, reaching out to customers and conveying that what we are doing, like maybe via testimonials or via creatives, is done nothing but via CTV for us.
So you look at it as best of both worlds, from the conventional side as well as digital side and precision. Talking about high value customers, Shivani, you are in the fashion business. So how has your experience been in targeting some of these high value customers through CTV? How do you see this helping you in your plan?
Currently for Ajio, we are a very performance heavy organization. But for us to build a top funnel, you cannot always be spending on linear TV because it is getting much more expensive, and also there's a lack of relevance. Not everybody will resonate with what we're trying to talk because our USP is exclusive international brands or mostly Western wear. So in the spaces that we are operating in, we want to focus on different kinds of selections because that's what e-commerce and specifically as a fashion aggregator what we're about. So to blend both aspiration and access, I think the only relevant place that we find is CTV because whether it is a home screen of an OEM or whether it is within the content streaming in content ads, both of the spaces help us identify right users, and there is a lot of context relevance. And as he also said, right, when somebody is logged in, you're taking benefit, whether it is YouTube CTV or OTT CTV. In those spaces, you can benefit from having logged in user data because e-commerce has a very high percentage of logged in user base, so we are able to capitalize on that. For spaces where we are looking to acquire new customers, so their home screens actually help us a lot, where we either partner with JioFiber or other CTV operators to actually get into awareness and consideration space. So that's where it is.
So you mentioned, just a follow-up on that, top of the funnel kind of metrics, and you're very performance-driven kind of a brand. So how do you see the role of digital in contrast with this? I mean, how does that supplement your efforts with?
So it's not replacing, it's actually supplementary because at the end of the day, performance CPCs are very high if you do not create cultural relevance or if there's no context to people. So if you're just saying that fashion at under 99, then people are only thinking of you in a very price kind of situation. Now OTT or whether it is content on CTV or whether it is home screen, you have filtered out all, like we are operating at 4-digit average order value, so we know which kind of users we do not want to reach out. And in this space, it actually helps us only build awareness and consideration. Let's say we have an exclusive international partnership with On Shoes or Saucony. So it depends, instead of just showing catalog ads, which we do in performance, here I have the ability to build consideration for different selections, or if you're announcing a celebrity partner. So it builds in relevance in that space.
Pretty interesting. We spoke, Anil, about vastly different sectors. You have fashion, real estate. What are the kind of sectors, when you talk to your clients, what are the kind of sectors who are seeing value in this space and who are sort of gravitating towards CTV a lot more?
So it's like a good question though. So if you had asked me this question last year, so I would have said we are looking at connected TV only for the soft funnel. As she rightly said, we are slowly going into the mid funnel. So we are looking at 60 to 65 million by end of this year, right? So that's 30% of the entire TV also. So it is not only going to help you in the upper funnel, and it also going to help you in the mid funnel. So the lower funnel, not so much, but we get there soon. So if to answer your question, so it varies. Everyone wants to, even if you want to do the performance, branding is there. So there's a new term called brand performance, right? So where we can look at building the brand from the top to bottom and ensuring that we get the conversion. So it, as for me, it cut across all. So it has become one of the major touch points, and we see that approximately 10% of our budget is going to the connected TV, which was not the case before across sector. So I was just doing one number crunching last year, and we could see less than 5%. I'm talking about across 10. So now it was beyond that. So this year, by end of this year, probably I'll come up with a different number. So it has become one of the important elements in our plan.
Yeah, and the growth is actually...
Growth is, we can see the 4 times the growth last year. Yeah. So we saw that 1,500 industry-wide, 1,500 crores was spent last year. This time we are looking at 2,500 crores, 1 year connected TV, which is a huge number.
Yeah. So Gaurav, coming to you. Again, talking about your own clients. How do you see clients look at this medium in terms of targeting affluent? And are they seeing this, like some of us spoke here, about as a supplementary element to the plan? Or are they seeing it somewhere just as a performance tool as well? So how do you see clients responding to this?
So it has evolved as a medium which is actually disrupting throughout the funnel. But as I think what the panel has also mentioned, largely right now the skew is more towards upper funnel to mid funnel, and objectives around where driving that brand recall for your respective brand is the key priority. While there are combination of hyperlocal, combination like someone mentioned, hyperlocal, the combination of DOH, combination of other mediums, mobile, how we can elevate to the next level is also an endeavor which is happening. And in terms of the sector which are adopting, it's auto, luxury, and those are the given, but even FMCG, which is a mass commodity medium, and we won't think CTV first, but even the aspects where we are looking at those mindset of audience which are affluent, whether it's as simple as dark fantasy, which is a biscuits with a certain price.
Remember that.
Yes, so there the adoption is much faster, and it's not a supplementary or plus plus. It is something which is disrupting our TV budgets for the offline teams, and we are gaining share towards CTV in a massive rate. So it's an important consideration right from your key impact properties to the regular systems. So whether it's IPL, the conversation is about getting those CTV spot buys. From the beginning itself, the ask is not evaluate CTV. The ask is get us the CTV spot buy.
So there is a lot of conviction in the system already.
So they're very sure, whether it's a BFSI, fintechs, whether it's investment apps. So they are the first mover in terms of getting 100% SOVs around CTV environments. And so that is where it is moving. But now there's a next leap which is coming, which is going beyond affluent also, which was not the case I think 6 months back, because of those fast channels, the cloud TV, long tail. So even beyond your Samsung, LGs, and these environments, Xiaomi's, now there are 20 to 25 long tail brands, which may give you that access to even tier 2, tier 3 ecosystems, but nobody's talking about it right now, because that's not the key ask. But it's moving rapidly towards it, and there's a huge audiences, which beyond these premium OS, now even we can look at beyond premium also. So things are moving rapidly. Every month the data changes, like you mentioned 65 million we are about it, but it's much more rapid than that. So the usage is cutting across.
So it's fascinating because it's not just growing, but also like the way you can use the medium is also increasing. And you spoke of a specific trend, so let me come to you, Brahmanand. So how do you see, he spoke of it going beyond metro with the long tail of brands helping you gain access to tier 2, even smaller towns and so on. So what are the big trends that you see maybe playing out in the next couple of years? I wouldn't really go longer than that for trend. As far as CTV is concerned, as far as targeting affluent audiences through CTV is concerned. So what would you call out as some big trends?
Yeah, so what he said, I 100% align with that, because he's correct. Like 6 months down the line, or maybe 1 year down the line, when CTV as an ecosystem started, it was skewed towards only for a certain set of premium brands. Like one of them was Audi, or they talk about any in the premium category. But I think the trend has changed significantly. I'm not talking about the FMCG, even Meta and Googles of the world, they want to come on the platform like OEMs and any CTV ecosystem, and they want to reach out and they want to advertise. Likewise, the current ecosystem, when I'm just talking about internally also, the number with what I've seen last year has been doubled in terms of the OEM. The number whatever was there last year, we have seen the double trend. we can see the new TV, whatever is being sold in the market, being sold in the market, is definitely going to be the smart televisions, and it actually automatically gives an opportunity for advertiser to reach that level. So understand the ecosystem of CTV is not a regular. These users are evolved. Of course, we are not talking about there is a difference between the linear and CTV. The user have evolved very differently. That's what we call them. I mean, there are two segments. There's one is definitely cord cutters are growing. Definitely the numbers are big right now, and we can see numbers are increasing. In fact, there was a report ICRA, I think they have published a couple of times back, that they can see there's a pressure on the revenue of television that is there right now. And similarly, there is a new trend which people are talking about beyond the paywall. So of course that is there, that even you can, I mean, I know there was a question answered from one of the marketers last meeting. He said, couple of times back, if I want to reach out to the real affluent in the market, there was only one way. I have to go put advertising on the airport or some of the premium edge, and that was the only way to reach out. Now the same set of advertisers, I can reach out in his bedroom, just understanding what size, what devices he's using. It's very easy for me. So instead of going and broadening, just expanding my sense, I think I can very much reach out to his personal space, and that's the reason we can see Rolex of the world or you all name the brand, they want to enter into the ecosystem and they want to create their personal relationship. So I think this is the new thing which we can see in the market right now.
So you mentioned that, and it's very interesting that it hasn't taken that long for this change to happen, and I'm guessing people haven't fully come to grips with the potential of it. People may have mindsets, perceptions about it. So I want to ask you, Nupur, you advise clients and you tell them about the media strategy. So what are some of the perceptions about CTV that you have to tackle, and is that changing quite rapidly? Clearly, there is enough evidence that people have started looking at it as a serious medium, even to impact mid-funnel metrics and so on. So how do you see it?
So actually, clients are really increasingly, I'm seeing it strategically, how they have recalibrated with CTV being in picture, the advertising. They have actually, now what I see is, and what we've been seeing as where we work on brands, it is no more the experimental line item in our plans, or no a must to have, or we can just have a certain portion of it. And primarily it comes from the fact that the penetration of CTVs is growing rapidly. As we speak, the numbers have been quoted by my fellow panelists. It's growing at a year-on-year remarkable, rapid, steadfast growth. And the other thing that we see is a lot of cable television households are cutting the cord or supplementing it with taking streaming services. So with that, all your advertising comes to, you have a Fire Stick, you have gaming consoles, you have smart TVs. So the penetration is becoming really, really deep, and from 8 metros now it's moving even to tier 1 and tier 2 cities as well, which, like it was mentioned that sooner we'll also be hearing conversations how we can deploy CTV in tier 2 or tier 3 markets, which is a very big ask because the major of the audiences are sitting there as well. And the second thing is also, which I would like to say, is measurability is also very key when it comes to CTV, and we've been at Omnicom, we've been developing with a lot of enabling platforms how to measure CTV, and as we speak, PAC has also will be coming out with measuring connected TV. So connected TV is actually, it's no more, like I said, the experimental layer in my media plan or a media mix. It has become a must-have with a good proportion of budget allocated.
Yeah. And you spoke about the cord cutters, someone else spoke about it earlier. We are also in the era of the cord nevers, those who have never had, certainly not an experience of linear TV, right? So, and that base is growing rapidly. So, I also want to talk a little bit about not just the medium in the mix, but also how you can leverage it. So, let me ask you one, when you think of the formats, the way you storytell in this medium, what are some of the standouts for you in the way you have used this media?
Right, so I think we have a full circle, I would say. So earlier, all the creatives were designed for horizontal side. Then everybody started adopting to mobile. So everybody started creating vertical creatives. But now, with CTV coming to picture, we have to go back to that creating creatives in the landscape format, but with a different approach. What it allows us to do is it allows us to do faster iterations. I think earlier when we used to have productions and when the production cost was itself higher, and then buying spots on television and then running that creative meant that we could not iterate faster. But given that we can maybe test creatives for 2 days also. And at Moderator we have our own studio team, so we have a studio in-house where we create content. So we have a content team also we shoot in-house and we iterate faster. So that has allowed us a lot of flexibility in what is not working. And going back to the same point, the precision with which we can target the customer. I can talk to you directly. I don't need to talk to maybe a cohort. Cohorting still exists, but I can create maybe 10 different cohorts and create 10 different creatives and target them on CTV. The advantage of CTV is that when you look at maybe reels and shorts, which is primarily consumed on mobile, the attention span is very low. And I've seen that across the industry that when you want to watch long form content, you would rather prefer CTV or TV. And that's where you have opportunity to maybe tell a proper story. Where in shorts or reels you have to, it's called thumb stopping creative. You have to stop that thumb that's scrolling, right? That's not the case in CTV. There you can have elaborate storyline, and if what you're telling is worth it, I'm sure users will respond to it. The VTRs are better. So we are keeping these things in mind and designing accordingly. And also another trend which I think everybody has said is that people want more authentic content. So that testimonials or the first person videos are working better than the heavy production creatives that we see across. Hence, I think we met and the world recommend the collaborator ads also. So keeping all of these things in mind, we are creating content and cities have been
Talking about thumb-stopping creatives and performance which has really truly had brand impact. Now, if you reflect on your experience, can you maybe share a few examples of that where CTV has really helped you deliver brand impact for our geo? So some examples of that.
Yeah, sure. So one thing I think probably it's contrary to what most people are saying, but reality is second screening is very common. Like you might be watching, let's say, Patal Lok, but Instagram bhi chal raha hai. So because of that, which works in our benefit, that we are using all of these mediums to accelerate our performance or accelerate our bottom funnel metric. So on that, what we usually do is that you have limited budgets of performance marketing to actually guarantee the revenue. So the storytelling bit is very expensive when it comes to normal phones. So what we do is, and in e-commerce across different verticals, what you'll see, let's say for us, sarees is a weaker business in a particular market, and you cannot be spending just on a smaller region. So what we do is, we have created similar, we also have an in-house studio, and we have created multiple videos on different languages. So for a Bangalore market, if the particular segment is not working well, like for us ethnic was not doing well for a certain market, so we'll run different videos across different markets. It's sort of, I would say, cohortized, not very much into personalization, because personalization is anyways happening. We have very strong signals of first party. This is the first part of it. Second is, how do you, all of this, so we've done some experimentation on CTV to understand how do you, because we were always on the fence whether to invest in linear TV or not. We've seen that more people add to cart in regions. So through a geo test, that people, when they are investing, I have seen a lot of your storytelling or your content or even a normal ad. So what we've done is we've created thousands of ads on our content. So let's say for jeans, that we like half of the catalog will be in a montage of a video. So we've created thousands of these videos which similarly is mimicking what PMAX or other ad formats are, and we are delivering that through on CTV. So people have already seen it, so it sort of compresses your entire journey from discovery to purchase. And we've seen more add to carts in geographies where we've done the entire funnel. We have done, and this is in a recent of our sale that we did. So for I think when you're looking at a lower CPC, you're looking at a very long-term metric. These are not short-term results. You have to invest in understanding how do I get more people to consider me in a cluttered category. Then these things will make a huge difference.
So, yeah, I mean, you're right about some of the longer term interests also need to be addressed. But clutter breaking more in the short term is how I would see it. Anil, I want to ask you that there are still sort of challenges around standardization, measurement, etc. So, do you want to comment on some of those?
So, measurement is one of the key things like when we do the camera, right? So, though connected TV has got TV in it, it's still a digital property. So, when it comes to digital, you can ask them, like, they ask for a lot of metrics. So, it doesn't stop with one metrics, right? So, we'll have to look at like, there are like behavioral metrics, then attitudinal metrics. So, fortunately, we have like, we have got a lot of solutions which is giving that solution right now. So, we choose to talk about impression, which has like a kind of equivalent to TV. Like now, it is going beyond that. So, one of the sponsors, if you learning science, like they have got like personalized, the interactive connected TV experience, where it takes beyond TV. So, she was mentioning about like double screen. So, it is very important for us to like take it beyond connected TV. So, I'll take an example of Mokoba, right? The Mokoba brand. They built an entire category, not the brand, entire category based on the frequency. The frequency become key here. So here, like you just don't have to like stay around like what's happening in the connected TV. It is important for us to take it back. So that comes with your middle funnel. So we looked at like reach, and when it comes to the middle funnel, what happens? The engagement is. So what goes beyond that? There are like a lot of technology which will allow you to retarget the people who have actually seen the ad in the connected TV. So there are people who actually has got the audio mapping, frequency mapping to understand like what type of content you are looking at. It goes there, and the BLS is there. So one of our best clients, so Tata Group, so they wanted to target connected TV only for the first party data. So which is like look at like which was not possible last year. This year we tried that. The success wasn't so much, but still the people are experimenting on it. So the reason is that they have seen it like during that time whenever they air connected TV, the installs have gone up. So the people app installs have gone up. And via BLS, attitudinal ad recall also has been higher when we invested more on the connected TV. So it is giving us good result, and there are a lot of solutions which gives us the measurement solution also, but we still have a long way to go.
So even the very act of measuring the impact of this medium is in its evolution. Talking on those lines, there is a lot that can be done in terms of innovation, in terms of targeting the kind of specificity that both of them were talking about for their brands. So, you spoke about the trends earlier. So how do you see the next phase? So the next avatar, so to say, of connected TV, what all sort of developments do you see in that space?
So when it comes to development, actually the creative and everything plays a very important role. So understand when we are reaching this set of users in the ecosystem, I think what we have discussed, like though it's a CTV ecosystem, and we are actually catering, if we are catering the new products to the same set of users, I think that so once a creative gets generated, it's actually goes to every platform, and when it reaches again to your user, if you are driving the same communication, then it's just a repetition. Trust me, you are adding just one more screen to your media plan. The intent of this kind of conversation is to bring that user drive, because these users have evolved user understand, because these are not the linear TV. The user have evolved in the nature, so you need to serve in a different way. Then you need to ensure that you are adding some kind of additional element which can bring the relevance as well as they can drive the attention for the user. I think that is very important part which works around it. And likewise, I said this can be done when it comes to the data partnership and things like that is on the behind of the system. What exactly can be done? Likewise, I talked about the trend which are there in the market. is like you can reach out to certain set of OEMs, likewise we have done something for one of the brand in the trend, like reaching out to, I'm just giving examples of the brand, sorry I can't name it, it's an FMCG brand, and this is very unique. So they wanted to reach mothers in the household, in the ecosystem. Now I'll tell you, there are different ways you can reach out to the mothers, like in Amazon, you understand if someone's shopping and happy and that kind of things. But on the OEM ecosystem, we can get to know the household who have installed YouTube Kids in their ecosystem. So all the OEMs actually pre-installed, so you don't know how much interaction is there. But at OEM level, you can understand that how many households in India where YouTube Kids is installed. That is directly proportionate, and you tell me that, hey, I know the household actually where kids are there. Because if you don't have kids, definitely you are not going to install that particular ecosystem. So that thing is definitely a new trend which is working on right now.
Again, what we see is people are coming to grips with this new medium. The measurement is evolving. So if you think in terms of benchmark and measurements, what are some of the ways in which you feel you can communicate the sort of impact that this medium can have for your clients? So in that space, how do you sort of benchmark performance? How is that going to change?
So there's no unified CTV measurement as we all discussed right now. There are siloed methods in terms of OTTs having their own VLSS, partner having their own, OEMs having their own VLSS. So that part is a little broken, but doable if you are consolidating through a single pipe. Sometimes if you are deploying everything through TV, 360, and you are trying to combine YouTube, OTTs and everything together, and then you are layering your ADH use cases, whether it's CTV lift on the brand recall, or you are looking at donor movement, message resonance, favorability scores. So all of those things at an upper funnel level beyond media metrics are being tracked right now, and brands are looking at it. But since you mentioned performance and how it's moving the needle to the last mile, since every brand is becoming more cautious and want to know the actual profitability through the large media spends, there something what some of the team members mentioned.
What Anil mentioned.
Yeah, Anil mentioned, I think, that direct correlation with the installs. So something like that. Now brands are looking at what is the lift in the sales, what is the lift. Although depending on the category and the product, it's not the purchase window might vary. But they are looking at, I can quote one example from investment app brand, where through IPL CTV impact SOB campaign, there was a direct correlation to the app install in that defined window of 4 weeks. And it's completely linked with the impression share or SOB or spots on a per day basis. So it's not a guesswork, but it's directly proportional. It's just that it's not given on any one point where all your CTV efforts are driving something. There are a lot of silo efforts which you have to put a case towards, because at the end of the day it's a low clutter, high tension thing. You're looking at an upper funnel level. And anything at the bottom funnel is currently a plus which you are doing through these proxies. You are also doing search uplift during the same time. Sometimes it shows results, sometimes it doesn't. So you are using those proxies beyond the VLSS.
Yeah, proxy, so it's more like in the sense of correlation than direct performance accountability. So Nupur, I want to come to you in the end and ask you, like we've spoken a lot about measurement, and Brahmanand earlier said, listen, you can't serve the same kind of message to a slightly sophisticated audience in a new medium which has so much capability. So if you dwell on that part of it, like how can you storytell better, how can you create better engagement that can help brands move further down in the funnel perhaps. So what are your thoughts around that?
So interestingly, I would just like to share an experience of the BFSI client that we handle. We had a very big challenge of running a 2-minute 30-second creative, which which was a big task because it's a emotional messaging kind of storytelling format that the brand used, and on TV there is a limit, obviously because of budgets and all. So we actually tested on CTV. We ran the creative. It was an 8-week campaign. We ran the creative. It was a 2-minute 30-second. I have the first time ran that kind of creative, and the results were amazing. Now, why do I say that is, we saw BTRs, which is your view-through rates, completion rates touching around 55 to 60%, which is a very good, it's higher than the benchmark that we have seen on digital video when we do on CPVs and CPCV buys. It was amazing, and also what we did to see the test also, because like in Omnicom, we are very measurement and implementation driven. We want to, measure every ROI, and the clients are also like that they want to know each money, how it is giving me an ROI. So what we did was, we did a pre, mid and post brand website visit where only CD was activated and the other mediums were not. And we saw a 15% lift in the website visits. And even your search lift was also showing close to 10 to 15%. It's a BFSI category that I'm talking about. So the narrative here is that if you tell your clients or brands to experiment with a lot of content formats, I'm not saying only storytelling is the one. Now you have rich media ads on connected TV where you can gamify it. So one of our CPG clients, we used it from West, and it gives you that engagement. So for us as advertisers, it is very important to engage the audience with the brands as well, because that also builds your brand equity. So it is very imperative. And the second thing, like measurement, what we talk about, you can measure in these silos as well. You can do a test. You can see if there is a metric at the lower funnel. These are the lower funnel metrics. When I see, as all the members mentioned, search lift, your increase in app installs during that phase. So when you activate, you just do a test and you will see there is an uplift. And for our case, it has been. So CTV is no more like a nice to have medium in the media plans. That is very, very clear from advertisers. And now, as VAR will be coming with measurement, I think it's going to become more stronger and it's going to become more and more sharper.
So very interesting, and I'm happy that we are having this discussion at this moment when CTV itself is growing in pace, in leaps and bounds. The potential of it, is being harnessed in so many imaginative and interesting ways by people such as you. I think the horizon is really far as this medium is concerned, and I think the more we exploit it, specifically for our kind of audiences, for our kind of consumers, and manage to not just up the sort of targetability, but also the richness of messaging that you can deliver, the engagement that you can create, then I think it's already, like all of you say, must have and plan. It may soon become one of the leading elements of the plan. So on that note, I want to thank all of you for sharing your experiences, and it's really been eye-opening for me to understand the potential and the way in which this medium itself is evolving. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So please take a